trucks, vehicles, things of that nature. Things we've been wanting to do, a very clear understanding of what those compares are on here and some of these old. And instead of taking a hodgepodge approach and kind of going out to 15 acre and going to some places and just throwing a bunch of them on paper, we were able to bring Daniel in. Really took a very organized approach. Not only building these into spreadsheets, but then taking photos of all of these assets, correlating in the database back to the assets. And then now he's been updating it into a PowerPoint presentation. And our whole focus when we take some of these assets that we're going to sell off is to try to gather as much money as we can for the city and advertise. So as we kind of look forward, this is what Daniel's been able to put together. Now I'm only going to show you a few of the slides, but like our Streets and Parks Department, these are, he's got a slide that's showing assets not in use, and those that are located out of our holding lot. And when you drill down into these assets, he's got pictures of all of these assets. And so folks that we're going to be trying to bring in from places like Midland, Odessa, or Presidio, or right across the border there, a lot of times giving them the visual representation will entice more people to come for our auction. Now, we had thought of trying to do in October. If you remember back to the land assets, what we have to do from a city perspective is we have to declare them in surplus. Council has to declare them in surplus, and then we have to advertise in the paper and demonstrate really to the city, because they're owned by the citizens of the city. And we want to give every opportunity we can to citizens or people external to put on the assets. Well, with the events of the fall, what we found is that it really wasn't good time. Then I didn't really want to push it into the holiday season. There's enough going on between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So what we're really going to be looking at is, as we move into the January timeframe, doing that declaration around the assets themselves, which ones we want to sell, and then structure that probably in the February, early March timeframe to do the actual auction. So kind of moving forward, these are some of the other slides that we have. So we're building a really good database. The purpose certainly will be twofold, not only from an auction perspective, but more importantly, how do we tag these moving forward so that we have a very clear understanding as a city what assets we own, what condition they're in, all of those elements are critical. So I'm very pleased with Daniel's work, and he's getting out in the field, understanding this is a great learning experience for him too. Gentleman who will go on eventually to probably own a business of his own, and grounding and understanding these are important too. So proud of Daniel's work. Moving forward, Adopt the Spot, we'll talk quite a bit about that. One of the things that's pleased me recently is we're finally getting groups in numbers to start raising their hands and saying, hey, we want to take care of some of the parks in the areas. So Kirsten Moody, Gail Christopherson's daughter, is now starting to take care of some of the park planners over at Coconut, Rosebush planners at Danes Park. Scarlett Klaus family, Coconut Park planners along with Kirsten. Originally my folks had started working on the American Legion Park. American Legion has now stated they want to take care and maintain that park. And the Humane Society's had a meeting this week, and they're going to adopt Dog Park, which will be fantastic. Gilbert Paragon and Suela had talked with Patsy about the John C. Howland Park, Julian Gonzalez and friends, so we're certainly stimulating quite a bit of interest out there. An agreement that we put in place, we are asking for a 1-year commitment at a minimum. We don't want folks to come in and clean up one time and then not show back up, because that gets us out of cycle with what we're doing with our public works team. Signage is being provided by Union Pacific, gloves, vests, trash bags. And I put a copy of the flyer on each of your desks so you can see that. Certainly we're pleased with the Union Pacific partnership as well, because as we get signs out there, then it really provides validity to the project and appreciation to those that are working with it. Patsy's been advertising for more groups at our library, city hall, radio, and so.
And you said this is just a 1 year commitment?
We're asking for 1 year at a minimum. Certainly, somebody may do it in perpetuity or for 10 years. But what we're trying to avoid is somebody coming in and saying, hey, I'll take care of this park or this area, and then go out and clean it up one time, and then not come back. It does. Well, just usually if we can get them to take care of it for a year, then they'll continue on. So, Patsy will continue to push. And so here's some images. There's Kirsten out at the planters, and an image of the sign as well. So lots of neat things. They're bulky trash in October. Another great quarter. I mean, I just continue to be amazed at how many people appreciate the use of service. Typically, we're between 16 and 20 tons, which allows us to offset 1 day of our MSW type, trash that we take out of the landfill. So it's good. We've got a lot of folks in town that don't have trucks, don't have trailers. This is a great opportunity for them to get rid of something. Electronics recycling does a super job for us. And really, part of what we're trying to do, and Patsy's gone off last week, she was at Code Enforcement School, really working on ways to encourage people to eliminate putting materials by the dumpsters. And all of these programs work in conjunction with that. And then moving forward, one of the things I like to update at least every 3 or 4 months on is that major enforcement order with TCQ that we're working through. Stems from that 2012 inspection, but basically it went uncorrected the following year. I shared with you some of the pictures that we removed all the sludge from the old oxidation ditch. We implemented our dewatering tanks. We're repairing aerator in our new oxidation ditch. Jay Horry has been in contact with TCQ the last week or so to ensure that we're on track and on target. The biggest thing probably in front of us is removing the sludge from the old lagoons out there. And we certainly have line of sight on a couple of vendors that can come in and do that. My sense is it's something we could probably do in-house, but the question is, from a resource perspective, do we want to take that team and put them out in that environment for a week and a half, or are there other things in town that we're really focused on? So that's some of the decision making that Jay and I are working through. But certainly I believe we've got a pretty good line of sight. That's what I have. I've answered any questions.
Yes, what about that old fire truck, this yellow one that's next to the old fire station? Is that included? I didn't think I saw it.
Yeah, so we've got some of the fire assets are owned jointly by the city and the county. And I only put up, I had Daniel send me 5 or 6 slides.
One of my constituents been complaining about that for a long time.
Right.
I was just curious on what one. Thank you.
It's called a vehicle. Okay, let's go into city staff updates. And we just covered that and public hearings. We'll move on to consent agenda. I As the minutes, financial reports, department written reports, board appointments, etc. Notice to the public, the following items are routine and administrative nature. The council has conferred with the pipeline and support material on each item, and or it has been discussed at a previous meeting. All items will be acted upon by one vote without being discussed separately, unless requested by by council members. In which event, the item or items will immediately be withdrawn for individual consideration in the standard sequence. After the items not requiring separate discussion have been acted upon. The remaining items will be adopted by one vote. Approved by city council minutes on June 1st, 2016.
I move we approve the council minutes from November 1st.
Second, in discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor, please join me. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Now we'll move over to item 7, information or discussion items, the Rio Grande Council of Governments. And City Manager Zimmer, please.
Yeah, so Rio Grande City Council, we've been, met Jess, who's our Deputy Director of the COG of El Paso. She and I have been working to set this up so she can come out and give you an update on all of the activities going on with the COG. And so November 15th
Yes, sir.
works. So I have her here this evening. She's going to run through these topics for us.
I'll be brief. Just wanted to say thank you to Eric for being so gracious. I have, I think it's 2 months in the making trying to get this meeting set up, and it's been on my part, not the city's part in terms of scheduling conflicts. So I just wanted to thank you all for allowing me to speak with you today. My name is Annette Figueres. I'm the Executive Director of the Rio Grande Council of Governments. And I've been with the organization since 1999, but I have been serving this capacity since 2001. And what I did in the summer was I started reaching out to our cities and counties and requesting to be on their agendas, just to let them know what activities are happening at the Council of Veterans, to make them aware. You all are member governments of our association, who pay dues to our association. And I know that we often lean on individuals like Eric or on Megan or other staff members to come to El Paso and assist us on our committee membership, as well as other functions that are some emerging issues. And so I thought we need to do some reciprocity and come back here as well and let you know. As you can see on this agenda item, just wanted to talk to you about a few programs. The Texas Community Development Program, we're going to have that agenda item on November 18th, I believe, with Mr. With y'all are going to make a decision on that one. With regard to the Texas Community Development Program, I just wanted to just remind everyone or inform some of you with regard to this program. We are running into a new avenue with the way that this program is administered. And the reason for that is because through the original review committee, what we have done in the past is that we would try to forecast how much funding is available, and then we would look at our eligible entities and then divide that money up equally. But as you saw, every 2 years you would see applications become less and less and less. I think the last 2 cycles have been $180,000. There's not a lot you can do with $180,000 when you're looking at construction. Improvements to water, roads, things of that nature. So one thing that our regional review committee did, which consists of our local officials, is that we actually have raised the cap to $275,000 to make it more of a meaningful project for our entities. However, with that being said, we have 18 eligible entities in our 6-county region. So the likelihood of everyone being funded is not going to come to fruition. We're thinking that maybe 10, possibly 11 applicants will be funded. And so this is critical for you all to know, because if you're looking at your improvement plan and banking on the funding that's going to be available through CDBG for your project, you may have to wait another 2 years. One thing that the committee also did was to try to keep everyone in balance, to know that they're going to have some funding at some point in time, is that we put in under our scoring criteria, one question is, have you been funded in the previous cycle? If your answer is no, then you automatically get 40 points. So for those entities who did not receive funding in the last cycle, they're in a very good position to receive funding for this program. And obviously those who don't make the cut, we're looking at 11 applicants, 7 not making the cut, you all will be in a good position 2 years from now. It does take a while. It's a biennial program, so it's 2-year process, it's not yearly. But it's a very important program to many cities and counties. There isn't any more funding that's made available to you in this manner where you can use it for that function for your low to moderate income individuals. And so I just wanted you to be aware of that. I know that you all you know how to operate the program. You all have been funded pretty much every cycle because of that. And so I'm not concerned in terms of how you put the application together or any questions. It's just a matter of you knowing what may happen down the road if you don't get funded, how to get yourself prepared for that in the next one. And then the other item is the solid waste program. I do apologize. I cannot recall now off the top of my head if Alpine did submit an application for 17 or not, but we did, our board of directors did approve the funding request, the funding amounts that were recommended by our solid waste advisory committee. So we'll be sending out letters within the next few weeks to inform individuals in cities and counties as well as school districts if they receive funding or not. You all, just like Eric talked about this program that we had with the beautification project, Alpine is a leader in the solid waste program in terms of innovative programs that you offer. And so I know that you do great work with the funding that we have, even though it's become less and less. We're hoping that in this legislative session, there may be a small opportunity for us to get a funding level to a higher amount as in previous years. It's going to be a tall order, but that's something that we're going to strive for so you can make the funding greater to your communities for recycling projects as well as public education activities. And then finally, just wanted to let you know about our annual meeting that we had in September. We did have a new installation of officers. Carlos Leon, Commissioner from El Paso County, is serving as our president. Judge Jeanette Dewar from Jeff Davis County, she's serving as the first vice president. And then Commissioner Andrew Hagerty out of El Paso is serving as our second vice president. And within our organization, our tradition is to have a balance between urban and rural, and so we stagger that line. So once Judge Dewar becomes the president, Commissioner Hagerty will be the first president, and then our second president will be someone from our within our 5 community. So I just wanted to let you know about that. Do you have any questions for me with regard to any of the programs or any activities that you are experiencing that perhaps you want some assistance from the council residents?
Just a question, where's the money come from?
With which one?
So what funds the Rio Grande Council of Governments and the $1,000 they use now?
Yes, with the Rio Grande Council of Governments, our funding is 99% grant funded. So we receive funding from state agencies that are receiving funding from the federal government, and we are providing services on their behalf. We have Area Agency on Aging, that's our largest funding source, and we provide services directly to adults 60 and older. We also have emergency preparedness. We have 911. That one is state funded. Solid waste is state funded. We also have Economic Development Administration, and I do believe that John Tabor came out here to introduce himself to you all as well as Omar Martinez. Hopefully that they're providing service to you all. Maybe they can take a thing or two from your MBA intern in terms of learning how to do some asset mapping. So we're primarily grant funded. We do have membership dues, and that represents a very small amount of our total overall agency budget.
And what's the total funding that is allocated of other types, not just?
Our total revenues are $6.2 million.
Any more questions?
Well, thank you. No, I appreciate it, and like the mayor said, I too I'm sorry that this community is going through so many difficult times right now, but I admire your community spirit and coming together, and so I hope good things for you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to the action items. To be accompanied by brief statement of thanks including for funds coming from the applicable. Action items limited to 10 per meeting. Citizens are allowed to comment limited to 3 minutes after being called by the mayor, and you're required to state your name and the ward in which you reside. Priority will be given to citizens of Alpine and also in business or property in the city. Individuals who do not live in or own business or property in the city of Alpine will be allowed to speak if there is time available. Is there anyone? No one? Okay, we're gonna move over to item number 8, discuss and consider approving Councilor Escalero's board appointments for Parks Board and Planning and Zoning Commission. Councilor,
I would like to appoint George Forrest to the planning and zoning and also to the parks board.
is there a second?
I'll second
Any discussion?
Just have a question, I don't know, John. So.
Joe, will you please stand up, Mr. Torres?
Oh, geez, okay, so you're doing that. Come on.
Everybody knows me as this would do.
Yeah.
I have people that have known me for 20, 30 years. And somebody says Joe, and I turn and say, Joe.
that. And I was one of those. I've known him all his life, and I never knew what his first name was.
Put that in order.
I just wanted to sound
Make
really
it
nice,
official?
yeah, so I debated.
I'll tell you one more thing. Everybody asks me, when, sometimes we're afraid to tell you, we feel like we're going to stop. So, you know what? All my friends call me. All right. I want to be a friend of you.
Motion been made, been seconded. All those, let's vote on it. All those that approve or will approve Mr. McCool. I've known Joe for about 28 years, so, we'll make it official. Joe Torres, Mr. Joe Torres today. Okay? Okay, all those in favor of appointing him? Raise your right hand. And all those say yes. Let's sign. Mr. Torres, congratulations. You're on 2 boards now. Carl, you have a helper now. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. And we appreciate that you stepped up to the plate.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Now, discuss and consider, and this is going to be the superintendent, that's our city manager.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, every year we use the Brewster County to collect our ad valorem taxes. Councilor Stevens is our representative on the appraisal district board. And so this tax collection agreement, something certainly Megan and Betty Jo have discussed, it really just is the formality and agreed upon by council for them to collect the taxes for. So all the information we get back to them, pretty self-explanatory or administrative nature.
Thank you.
Okay, I move that we consider approving tax collection agreement.
Is there a second? Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. All those opposed, motion carries. Thank you very much. Let's move to item 10, city manager center.
So, Honorable Mayor, City Council, this is in line with our tax collection. It certainly would be great if 100% of people paid their taxes on time in full every year. That does not happen. So what this resolution does is it really kind of goes to the level that allows us to lose the cost to defray that cost of collection. So the resolution has been included in the packet and certainly spells out the sections of the tax code that allows us to do that. So certainly if there are any questions, myself and Megan can answer, but it seems fairly explainable.
I move that we approve the ad valorem tax collection agreement with Brewster County.
Is there a second?
Oh, wait. This is the resolution to defray the cost.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I move that we approve the resolution to defray the cost of collection.
Is there a second? Okay, motion's been made. Been seconded. Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Okay. Do we have any questions from the community? None? So let's go ahead and we'll go on. All those in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now we'll move to item 11.
Mayor, City Council. So, one of the items that's come up recently, Commissioner's Court, is do the other taxing authorities use the same collection service as the county? We are not required to. The city has used McCreary, Selka, Bragg, and Allen in the past. We've had good luck with Dane Jones as our local representative. Does a nice job for us. My recommendation is to continue to use them. The county does use this firm as well. School district uses somebody different, but very comfortable with McCreary. So this approval of this collection agreement, and a copy of the agreement was in your packet. So certainly if there's any questions, let me know. They, like I said, they collected for us in the past. They've done a nice job for us. My sense is no reason to change.
Just have a question, how do they do so if 100 are delinquent, what's the percentage rate of Megan?
I sent to you offhand, because there's a low. So there's 100 properties this year that are delinquent. The notification process goes as it's supposed to. Nobody's reached. Everything goes smoothly. It actually gets on the docket to be auctioned off. Then they probably, if it's a good piece of property, which in the city limits, of course, it's going to typically be a house. The collection is going to be 100%. It's getting it to the actual auction that is always the hardest thing, because there's always a letter that says, hey, wait, no, we're going to pay. They have to stop the proceedings, start over, give them the option to pay. If they don't, then it goes back to the same process, get back on that option. So if it goes straight through with no, then it's going to be 100% if it's auctionable. Not all properties are perfect.
So I propose that we approve collection agreement with a second Bragg and city attorney's office.
Second. Okay, motion been made second. Any more discussion? Seeing there's no discussion, let's call for the vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. So we want to item 12. We're having some moments.
It's been a long week and it's only like Tuesday.
At least I am one.
Okay, me too. So,
I'm walking on 2 hours of sleep, so.
okay, item number 12.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, section 3.12, subsection A, requires that City Council shall cause an annual audit to be made of the books and accounts of each department of the city. That determination has to be done really between November 1st and November 30th. So every year, during this month, one of the two meetings, City Council then acts on section 3.12, which are we've used Gibson Ruddock the last few years, and we continue to really grow with them. Very pleased with their help and support, and not just during the time of year of the audit, but as questions come up during the course of the year, Craig and Marlene are very quick to jump on Megan's questions or my questions, and that's been a healthy relationship. Of course, their letter of engagement outlines what their anticipated costs to be. We certainly budget that as we go through the budget approval process in the summer, and that's part of those ongoing conversations. You know, Megan and I are formulating the budget. We're asking Craig and Marlene how much. And so the other piece that they help us with is that financial assurances letter that we have to annually send to TCQ as part of our requirements. So, in your packets is both the letter of engagement for the city office as well as the letter of engagement to help us with that annual assurance letter. Certainly here to answer any questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I move that we approve the letter of engagement with Dixon Letter and Patterson LLC to perform audit for the city of Alpine for the fiscal year 2015-16 and approve Gibson Letter and Patterson to assist management with preparation of our annual letter of financial assurance for the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality regarding the city of Alpine, Minnesota.
Thank you. Motion been made and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and entertain a vote on it. So those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries with these in. Let's move on to item 13. City manager.
Honorable Mayor, City Council, every year we look at our depository agreement, utilize West Texas National Bank. And I think as we look back at 2013, moving forward, we were looking for a sense of stability and continuing on with West Texas National Bank. And talking with Megan, you know, she feels comfortable at this point that it would be good for us to go out and request some quotes and feedback from other institutions as well. So what we're really looking for from council this evening is approving Megan and myself to go out and bid for the services. We'll bring that back following city council meeting December 6th and with our selection basically. So this would just publicly allow us to do that. It's not a it's a good course, and you know certainly Megan can expound any further if there's any questions. But it's a good course for us to look at some of the other vendors around the
Yes, sir.
You believe that somewhere around this room for a while, those that do not like, they have to choose from one or the other. I think it's a great idea to let them go out and get it.
Yes, sir.
What's the length of the contract and what's the specific scope of work?
Megan, you want to go ahead and give a little more detail on that?
The length of the contract is determined by us. We typically go for 1 year, and then you can extend for up to 6 months to another year, which is what we've been doing. It never said in the original contract to stop after so many extensions. The scope is to be able to basically hold our funds without a lot of added fees. We also focus on our interest rate, our obligations with them. Pretty much it addresses anything and everything that we can think of. The current contract we have that was submitted quite a long time ago is 1 page. So what I'm looking at is, since the city has done a huge turnaround financially, is to be able to have the certificates to be able to back up what we have in the accounts. So currently, West Texas does back all of our funding. The FDIC will only back a certain portion of it. They do letters of acknowledging that they'll back up the remaining portion. So that's my big thing, because we do have the funds there. The other thing is all the additional fees. So a lot of banks have fees for stop payments, hot checks, return checks. Our ACH program, their online ability as well. Can we bank online? Do we have easy access to the online? What can we do online besides transfer the ACHs? What can we see with all of our accounts online? That's a big thing as well. We're not required to bank locally, but it is typically preferred because of deposits. If we don't bank locally, how do we get our deposits to that bank? Do they have what they consider a kiosk or an outlet, a location nearby, that kind of thing? Opening it up, it gives us some options with Martha or Davis, Sanderson, and Alpine, the banks in this area. The larger banks can, of course, go into the bid as well. It's just the issue of how to get our money. So we do deal in a lot with cash, especially with our utility side. So those would be deposits that would be harder to make, whereas checks, they do have the ability to, of course, upload them via their online banking. Security is also one of my concerns. I don't know if you've all read the papers or heard some of the things that have come up, but banks are having to do a lot more with the online banking versus the paper banking and the process of that. So those are things that I'm concerned with security. Do they have been checked being cashed twice or deposited twice? Pretty much anything and everything that I can think of that we're looking at. My big thing is the security of what we have. And the
Thank you. So, is there, I kind of lost it here, is there a time frame that you're looking at to consider another?
Current one expires end of this year. So if we can get responses back by before the December 6th meeting, then we will have a recommendation set for the December 6th meeting.
And the agreement goes through this way or again?
Typically, we would set it up for 1 year with some extension opportunities.
Starting like January.
Yeah, starting January 1 and then potentially extend through, you know, through another year or 2 years. And then go back out. Probably within every 3 years, my sense is we would want to go back out. But if somebody's doing us a good job after year 1, we probably aren't going to want to do this again in November of next year.
Okay, so, entertain a motion on this.
I moved that we approve the process to select a prosecutor. I'm just going to expire on December 1st, giving Derek and Megan.
Second, more discussion. Motion been made. All those in favor of it, raise your right hand. All those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Then December 6th, we hopefully will get some feedback. And moving on to item 14, city manager.
So, Honorable Mayor, City Council, this is regarding our normal scheduled meeting, which will be January 3rd, first meeting of 2017. Interesting enough, we've got scheduled holiday that Friday and Monday. You know, it was posed to me, question, you know, do we want to have the meeting on that Tuesday on the 3rd? Do we want to look at having 4th or the 5th? You know, so I just really want to kind of open it up for discussion. Certainly, if council prefers to have it on the 3rd, then we will have it on the 3rd. But at least wanted to entertain the dialogue and open.
I'm okay with
That's what I'm looking at right now.
I've scheduled meetings around an hour and a half, so. Personally, wouldn't want to go. Because everybody comes back from the holidays. We have it the first day, everybody's back.
What's it, Wednesday?
I'm ready, I'm planning to come.
yeah, the following week I can do it.
Okay,
So
so,
we'll open up a day or two.
Well, can we go for the 5th?
First will work for me.
Thursday? But not.
going down to the meeting.
Go ahead.
My sense is we would need it on probably the 4th or 5th,
Yeah, we don't want
because
to move too far out.
it goes out to the next week. Although Dr. Andrew can't be here, but if it went to the next week, then you've got multiple people that couldn't meet. So, the more I think about it, if we did it on the 4th, which is Wednesday, that actually might be better. Whether we have it on the 4th or the 5th, I've got to get the agenda out on that Thursday to meet the 72-hour notice. So the agenda is gonna go out on that Thursday, but it gives people at least a full day if you've got questions that you need to bring to sit down and talk to Megan or myself. Because I know, pretty much with most every elected official, there is some questions or dialogue back to me, and you might need a little bit of time to research. So I think giving you the 3rd, and I'm comfortable. I would say the 4th and 5th would be.
I'm okay with you.
Same here.
Whatever's best for you.
Lucy, up to Lucy.
Yeah,
Okay, so I'll make the motion to the 5th.
Right. make a motion to schedule the January meeting to January the 5th, 2017.
No second.
Any more discussion? None. All those in favor, signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed, like sign. So motion carries. We'll have a meeting on January the 5th, 2017 then. Thank you very much. Let's go on to item 15. And that's Councilor Green.
You have the fee schedule for animal control and the ordinance 2015-11-01. The original, we had the fees set, the parish council has met and set the fees for boundary animals, quarantine, energy, adoption.
Let's see, we have to see marijuana. Okay. I move that we approve the first reading of the single F, amending the animal ordinance 2015-11-01, setting fees.
Motion to made second. All those in favor, raise your right. Discussion, I'm sorry.
So Nancy, I'm just trying to understand, I got no problem with the ordinance, I was just trying to understand rationale. We look at impound fees, it's $15. The quarantine fees are different. That's $200 for a 10-day stay, that's $20. I'm just trying to understand the rationale of 15 versus 20 for thought process.
Well, if the animals in quarantine has to be kept away from the rest of the population.
So that's just additional cost to maintain the separate. Got it. Okay. That's all I got.
Does that include any kind of test that you perform on?
I'm sure it does.
We have a separate room at our animal shelter specifically for quarantine. So there is a little bit of extra work for staff.
So,
This one.
These fees have not changed either. They were already existing and they just left them alone this year. Didn't change anything, so they have not gone up.
okay, so if they've not got it up, why are we having this discussion?
So they were set them before for the ordinance.
So how were they set before?
They were part of the ordinance.
This is a formality.
I want to make sure I understood the circumstances.
Okay, motion to made second. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those opposed, like sign, motion carries. Now we have it written in stone.
So bottom line, there was no change on fees. No, not.
Okay, we'll move to item number 16, city manager.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, when we went through the work updating personnel policy, one of the goals from an employment perspective was to really look at the leave policy starting at 90 days versus 180 days. One of the things I did miss is we certainly took care of that early in the policy, but we had another item that we didn't get the update on. And so this particular item here then clears that up so that we do have that 90-day implementation spelled out in both portions of the policy. I apologize, I did not catch that in the first go around. I think sometimes in 118 pages we might make a mistake, and this is one that I missed, and I apologize for that, but we do need to correct it so that it is appropriate.
So I move that we amend the personnel policy to correct the administrative conflicting policy for employees paid time off on section 6070, sick leave, vacation leave, page 43, and 118, because this section conflicted with section 3.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any more discussion? Seeing none, Alderman King, please. Okay, all those opposed? We're having a bad moment. I had a long drive this afternoon. Motion carries. Thank you all very much. We'll move to 17.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, item 17 is looking at our airport advisory board's recommendation to really amend section 1 of our ordinance that's the rules and regulations for Alpine Casper's Municipal Airport. We think back to the last year and a half, the advisory board has been looking at the airport assurances and looking at just the overall general operation out there at the airport. Megan has done a wonderful job in helping lead that team on their monthly meetings. And this was a recommendation. So if you look at the language there that Holly provided in your packet, in section 1 there, a person, partnership firm, association, corporation, or entity incorporated or otherwise shall use the airport for aviation-related purposes. So this is providing clarity on the aviation use. Any questions?
Yes, I have no question, but I think it's the right thing to do because it's the other thing I take care of it required anyone who want to do business out there to come forward. This airport is all about enhancing and wanting people to fly and use it for aviation business. So it's a sign of those that we approve the airport board recommendation and approve the first reading of order 2016-11-1 in section 2011. So it's rules and regulations for the operating customers.
Second motion been made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none. Please raise your right hand if you approve it. All those opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 18, city manager.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, item 18 is approving the resolution selecting engineering firm and administrative firm for the Texas CDBG 2017-2018 Community Development Fund Grant application. We discussed at the last meeting, GrantWorks was the only group that submitted for the administration oversight. We had 4 firms for the engineering. The mayor, Councilor Escobedo, and Councilor Stevens, and myself did review the packets. All the scoring for the engineering was submitted to me, a local spreadsheet. And so what we'll need this evening is a motion to pass that resolution. And in that has to be the name of the administrative entity. Certainly, any discussion we can have before.
The purpose of having a select committee do stuff like this is to go with their recommendation. That lets this organization score the highest.
Yes, sir.
So I propose that the council approve the resolution to select, I don't have those here, Grant Works to be awarded a contract by Texas CDP Administrative Services, XSA, for the budget and professional services contract for the Texas CDP 2017-2018.
Motion been made, seconded. Any discussion? And one of the things I was part in grading this, I looked that we would have a person on hand if there were issues. You know, there was a lot of these contracts were very good. They scored pretty close to each other. The only concern was, were they local and would they be available in case of emergency? And I think that was a determining factor on this. And Jerry, your company's done a great job. And so that was one of the things I think that also helped us, that you have a good track record here. So your company has a good track record.
The only comment I made, not one of them I scored them all down, and no data about the cost of select points.
So that's,
Yeah, so my view is, for those coming in, that was a requirement, so that's why I'm going to this, scoring the right, and that's necessarily a score.
there was one good in the south out of that's in Texas, but the spread kind of thing with the whole group. Texas County.
But none of them had anything.
They did.
None of the four had anything.
So motion been made, second. All those in favor of approving this motion, approve it, raise your right hand. All those opposed, that sign, motion carries. That works against the. Okay. And let's go on to item 19, council member comments and answers. We'll start with you.
I'd like to thank you all for coming. We appreciate your being here. And I wish you all a very pleasant and happy Thanksgiving. I too would like to thank everyone for being here. Dr. Vicki has his community luncheon dinner tomorrow. And we have art walk. So be very careful with people walking, the train coming. And see everyone.
I want to thank everybody for coming, especially my three constituents that came here tonight. And congratulations to Magoo. Welcome to boards. Happy Thanksgiving.
I'm happy that y'all are all here, and we're happy that everybody's on board with the planning and zoning.
Thanks, Magoo.
Thank you, I will.
And I've got a comment for always constituents from all five here as well.
Congratulations, Mike. Appreciate it.
And again, I want to thank everyone for attending tonight's meeting. We have a lengthy agenda, but we have went through it rather quickly. I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving and a safe one. And also, don't forget Art Walk. It starts this week. Also, Mr. Wu, congratulations. Yes, sir.
And with that, pursuant to Texas Government Code Sections 55.1.071, consultation with attorney, and 55.1.074, personal matters, narrative report, the city secretary position of the city council. Second.
Okay, motion been made second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed, what time is it?
6:31.
6:29.
Sorry to the season. It's 3 o'clock.
So we're gonna go into executive session. Thank y'all very much for coming. I'm gonna take a little break.
Gary.
I don't know. Nancy needs to go out and party like a rock star. I was sick.